Welcome back, it's me Lou, and I'm here for another action figure unboxing and review. And we are reviewing this Avengers War Machine. Alright, so this is the budget figure from the Avengers Endgame movie line. As I've stated in previous videos, besides collecting the Marvel Legends figures for the MCU stuff, I'd also pick up any of the basic, more affordable budget figures whenever I had the chance. These figures, they don't fall into the 6-inch scale like the Marvel Legends. They're a little bit shorter. They probably fall within 5 to 5.5 inches. The articulation is a lot limited. And they're a little bit, they're aimed more at kids. It even says on the packaging, ages 4 and up. Whereas the Marvel Legends stuff is kind of aimed more towards the older collector. Okay, I'm just kind of slipping on my words right now. So yeah, I brought out this Avengers War Machine. I didn't have this figure before. I bought this recently, got this online. And the reason I purchased it is because if you've seen my videos from the last few weeks, I've been reviewing a lot of the more budget line Marvel stuff. I was kind of turned on with the Marvel Mech Strike, the Avengers stuff that I saw at Walmart. Those are $9 budget figures. There was a Captain America, an Iron Man, a Black Panther, and a Hulk figure I reviewed. So if you haven't checked those out. So when I was playing with those figures and reviewing them, it kind of sparked and renewed my interest in the cheaper figures. Mostly because they feel more like toys to me than collectibles. And when I handle them and play around with them, I kind of feel more youthful, and it's kind of a callback to when I was a kid growing up. Whereas the Marvel Legends stuff, as awesome as it just feels more like a collectible for me, and for some reason I don't find them as fun, if that makes any sense. There's something about the whole experience about buying an action figure on a card where you tear the bubble off and it just feels more like a toy. It doesn't feel like something I'm paying a little bit more for. It doesn't feel like a collectible. So then I was kind of spurred. I'm like, you know what? I got a couple of budget Iron Man figures. I need a War Machine. So then I looked in my collection, and surprisingly, I don't have as many War Machine figures as I thought I did. And I had one hanging on the wall. And this is the Avengers Infinity War Machine. And I'm like, I can't bring myself to open this because I have the entire set hanging on my wall of these figures, and they look beautiful, carded, and grouped together. But I didn't have this, and I think this was actually going cheaper online. So I figured I'll buy the Endgame version and crack it open and review it. And to the best of my knowledge, I believe these figures are identical. So this was a re-release of this one. This one came out in 2017 when Avengers Infinity War came out. And then this one was released 2018 for Endgame. Looking at the figures, they have the same accessories, but the Infinity War comes with a gemstone. It comes with an Infinity Stone that you could plug into his Gatling gun, which, that's not taken from the show. That's more of his kiddie play feature. If you're a kid, it gives you the chance to collect the Infinity Stones. But before I open it up real quick, let's take a look at the packages. We'll look at this one first, since this was the first release. So I love the Avengers Infinity War packaging, especially the basic line. This is the $9 line, and I love the card art. You have Thanos here. The logo is nice and bright in that kind of gold. You have some character artwork. It shows you the play feature with the Infinity Stone. And then you have War Machine. You have his shoulder cannon, his chain gun. It's beautiful. And like I said, I have the entire set of these, I believe. I don't think I'm missing any. And I just have them all hung up on a wall, grouped together. It looks awesome. And then here's War Machine. It's not the most flattering pose. It's kind of there. And then some other figures in the line. There's an Iron Spider, there's a Drax, and there's a Black Widow. These are also budget figures. I think it's really cool that whenever there's a new MCU movie, they always have affordable budget figures for kids, in addition to having the Marvel Legends stuff. Because I think with the budget figures too, it seems like the they're more likely to give you more variations of a character, even if they don't exist on the screen. And you know, they might even throw them a couple of more villains than the Marvel Legends stuff. And the Marvel Legends stuff, like for example, I think like for Endgame and Infinity War, it took a while before they released most of the cast of characters. Whereas for the budget line, you know, they'll crank them out maybe like in this 2 or 3 waves within a close distance of one another. So yeah, this is the Infinity War one, and I gotta remember, this is the one that I keep, so I'm not opening this one. So I'm gonna put a little post-it to remind me that. And here we have the Avengers Endgame budget War Machine figure. Exact same figure. You have his character artwork here. It's pretty cool. On his breastplate it says Lieutenant Colonel James Rhodes. It's kind of rubbed off because he's seen some, you know, battle damage. I don't find the Endgame packaging as attractive as the Infinity War one. It's a little bit more, as I said before, the colors are a little bit more muted with the white and the blue and the gray. I don't know, it doesn't really, it's not as striking, but I do like this character artwork in the back. And there's a really brief description. It says here, Marvel's War Machine. James Rhodey Rhodes gears up in an advanced weapon suit to become War Machine. And then we have Ronan, Iron Man, and Cap. Now I'm thinking about Endgame. I might be wrong on this, but I don't think James Rhodes wore this armored suit in Endgame. I think he wore the more beefed up one, and I think he wore the Iron Patriot. Unless I'm getting confused with the action figures. I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong. If you know whether or not he wore this outfit in Endgame, but I'm pretty sure he wore it in Infinity War. So this is the figure I can open up and review, and let's do that now. Alright, so first impressions out of the bubble and still in the plastic tray. It's a really nice looking figure. For a budget figure, the sculpting is really nice. We have some nice crisp details. I can really appreciate how the accessories are laid out in the plastic tray. You know, if I'm a kid, I see this on the shelf. It's kind of cool because I see he has his shoulder cannon. He has this cool looking Gatling gun. His colors, I'm not sure if they're necessarily screen accurate. It's kind of almost like almost like a deep, dark aqua metallic kind of blue. If I had to describe it, at first I almost wanted to say cobalt blue, but I'm not sure if that's right either. There's some silver trim. He has the red eyes. Let's take him out. Now, I've always been a big fan of War Machine, especially in the MCU. I love, to be honest, I'm a little bit more biased towards his armor than Tony Stark's Iron Man armor. Iron Man's armor always looks, it's a little bit more sleeker. His stuff kind of looks like, you know, if I had to describe it, Tony wears like the sports car kind of armor, whereas Rhodey kind of wears stuff that's more like off-road trucking. His stuff's always burlier, it's bulkier. Has harder angles, and of course, you know, it's always equipped with very visible artillery. Whereas Tony's stuff, you know, he always has all the hidden repulsor blast and all the other kind of gadgets. But you know what you're getting with James Rhodes. You know, he has the big guns and cannons and missiles, and it's just so cool. I love this figure. It's awesome. In terms of articulation, here's a ball for the head. Hands can rotate, they go out, elbow bend, elbow swivel, no waist swivel, and like I've mentioned before with the budget figures, you get what you pay for, and it's very limited articulation, so that means for the legs, he's just going to be able to kick out, and that's it. You have no thigh cut, doesn't kick out to the side, nothing to do with the ankles, that's all you got. So if you're a 4-year-old kid and up, this will do the trick. If you're an older collector or if you're into fig photography, you're better off with the Marvel Legends. Excuse me. As I've stated in other videos, I record so many of these videos in one day that I lose my voice. So I always have like a bottle of water on hand. Oh man, so it's cool. I like the fact that you can take his shoulder gun and plug it in. Now, if you look at the hole for the shoulder cannon, it's not a perfect circle. So this is only meant to go in one way. Once it's in there, you shouldn't necessarily rotate it because it's gonna eventually maybe possibly tear the peg off. The peg's a softer plastic, and one end is flat, so this isn't meant to be rotated. It's just meant to be plugged in, just like that. His Gatling gun or chain gun or whatever you want to call it. It's a harder plastic, but the handle's much softer, rubbery plastic. So you can put it in his hand like so, and then with other hand. It's nice that it's a rubbery plastic because with the amount of articulation he has, this could bend if it needs to, so it's a little bit more forgiving. Now, if I remember correctly, I don't think he carried a gun like this in the movie, but it's a cool accessory nonetheless. Kids love big guns. Adults love chain guns in their science fiction. I mean, it's everywhere. You see it in Predator, you see it in Star Wars, the Clone Wars, everything. Anytime you see a huge Gatling gun, it's always cool. Now, there's a little peg up here. That's for the Infinity Stone that came with the previous release of the figure. But there is no Infinity Stone with this guy. But it looks like... I just noticed this now. There's a hole in his back. And I think... So you can either... I want to say you can either mount this. So you can either mount... his shoulder cannon on the back, and will this fit? No. So there's nowhere to mount this thing, which is okay. So yeah, here we have War Machine. Budget $9. Chances are you might not be able to find them on the shelves anymore because this figure's been out of print for a while, a couple of years now. But every now and then you'll still see the Avengers Endgame figures on the pegs. Most likely you'll just find a Chitauri Warrior. And alright, so since we have a budget War Machine, let's bring out a couple of budget Iron Man figure. Okay, here we have Mech Strike Iron Man. I believe this is from the Solo figure. This is the one that I think does not come with the mech suit. And then we have Gamerverse, Atmosphere, Armor, Iron Man, and this is from the Square Enix game that came out, I think, earlier this year. And you see they all fall kind of within the same height of each other, which is awesome. Even though this one has a little bit more detail in its sculpt, it can easily fall in line with other budget Iron Man figures, which is a plus. The only downside with this guy is that some of these later budget Iron Man figures, the leg articulation is a lot better. Besides being able to kick, they have the knee swivel, and then they have the side kick out. And this figure is dangerous. Once again, when I closed the knee, it pinched my thumb, and it hurts. So this guy's, I don't know, this guy's dangerous. So yeah, that's a plus. This budget figure will fit into your line and your Hall of Armors of other budget Iron Men if you collect the budget line, which I kind of encourage you to do. I think one reason why I got into this recently also is because I'm kind of burned out on Marvel Legends. I think it's partially because I feel like, especially this past year, it seems like they're releasing wave after wave after wave, and for me, it's kind of hard to keep up. It does get expensive after a while, and every now and then, I'm like, I should have spent my money on other things, whether it's a video game or a different line of toys. Because, for me anyways, I kind of have the iconic representations of certain characters that I really like. And I don't, as much as I love the MCU stuff, I don't need every MCU figure. And the budget line, it gives me a chance to like hunt down stuff that I passed up on before. So in some ways, what's old is new again. And it's like I said before, these feel more like toys I want to play with. Not that I'm too old to be playing with toys, but you know, when I handle these and fiddle around with them, it really does bring me back to my youth. Beautiful sculpting on this guy. And before we get going, let's pull out a Marvel Legends. Alright, so we have a Marvel Legends War Machine right here. You can see the difference in scale. Much taller figure. I don't remember which War Machine figure, which line is this from. I don't remember if this is from I don't know, Age of Ultron, or I don't know, Civil War. But it's a cool figure. As you can see, you get more money, you get more bang for your buck with a guy like this. This is like a $19, $20 toy. But this is also out of print, so when you hunt these guys down, expect to pay a lot more inflated prices on the secondary market. This is the alternate portrait. The other one, I think, has the face mask closed. You get some cool bells and whistles here, like his shoulder pads, you know, go up. He has a bicep swivel, double jointed elbows, whereas this guy only has a single jointed, so they don't go that far up. But I do like elbow swivel a lot. You know, if it doesn't have bicep swivel, I'll be happy with elbow swivel. This guy I mean, like a lot of Marvel Legends figures, and their leg movement, even though they have a lot of articulation, the range of movement isn't always that much. Like this, as far as this guy's gonna kick out, but he could kick out to the side a little. Double jointed knees. No ankle on this. Wait, I take it back. There is some ankle movement, but it's kind of pointless because he has these like covers on his leggings that cover his boots, so it's not like he can move his legs all that much. For me, it seems like almost a waste of engineering. But it's a great figure. Iron Man figures, they're always popular because I think people, even if you just collected just Iron Man figures, there's so many of them, and the idea that Tony Stark has like a endless catalog of all the different armors, it's fun for collectors. They have different variations of his suit and costume, and you know, you can just, I've seen some cool dioramas where people will have the individual light up cells and they'll place an Iron Man armor over each one. So awesome. So yeah, this is the budget Avengers Endgame War Machine. If I had to rate him numerically, judging in terms of a budget figure, I would say for when he was released, maybe a 7.5 to an 8, just because I love the sculpt. It's a beautiful sculpt. If I set this on a shelf with other budget Avengers figures, it'd look great just to have the entire team. But if I had to rate it now, it might be a little bit lower, just because with the range of emotion and the articulation. You know, with the Mech Strike figures, those are cheaper figures, and same with the Gamerverse figures. Those are, you know, competitively priced at like $9, but those give you the option of, you know, being able to kick out and giving you lots of knee movement, whereas this guy, you know, this is all you get. But the sculpting's decent. I didn't notice this earlier. There's holes in the forearm where you can plug the gun in also. You know, if you're a crazy person, you could buy 3 of these figures and then give them a cannon on each arm and in the shoulder. But this is nice. I'd like to see this. I'd like to see them release maybe like a best of wave of just the budget figures, and offer repaints and redecos, and you know, just card them and market them as something else, like maybe like a best of line or a legacy line. Because you know, I think they would sell. Kids would buy them, and collectors wouldn't be mad because it's not like they're double dipping into a collector base. You know, the budget figures are really aimed at the kids. Because I know collectors sometimes get bent out of shape, like, you know, for example, the Star Wars Black Series, the archived figures, like, you know, people always think it's going to devalue the first run. But, you know, as the engineering and the technology advances, especially with paint, you know, they always re-release certain figures, but give them updated paint apps, which is great. And sometimes I guess they'll retool some of the accessories or parts of the figure. So yeah, get this guy. He's awesome. Hunt him down. You know, complete your Avengers lineup. If you already have a complete set of Avengers in the Marvel Legends scale, why not do yourself a favor and start having a collection of Avengers in the budget line? It'll give you an excuse to just hunt down new toys because we're all addicted to this plastic crack. All right. Well, once again, my name is Lou. Thanks for joining me. Take care and go out there and buy yourself some toys. Later.